shoes here and head top, so watch how you speak on my name, you know?
The beat on the beat.
Hey you guys, good morning. It's me, Clarissa, here on Clarissa Says, where Clarissa says it all, and that is how I feel. So shout out to Dirty Low. I always say, please put any topic that you may want to know about, me comment about, let's review together. Any topics that are interesting to you, anything of that nature, I always say to put it in the comments down below. So shout out to Dirty Low. He basically gave me this topic to talk about. Now I have thought about this previously, but I never did a video on it. So like, seriously, this topic is killer. Like, it is very important, and we should literally think about, you know, these kinds of topics. I know that there's a lot of things that in the hype, gossip, rumors, stuff like that, but these are kind of topics that make a difference throughout the world and make a change in our reality for minorities like myself and any other minority that's watching this video that maybe went through the same situation, maybe have thought about this before as well because you're a minority, and maybe have actually experienced this through a family member or a friend, or have heard it as well. So I'm just going to let you guys know what Dirty Low sent to me. Basically, he said, talk about dirty cops and why so many blacks been falsely incarcerated in the state, having so many lawsuits. Now, this goes over worldwide. This happens worldwide, but on this video that Dirty Low had actually commented on, it was my Chicago World News live video that I did with Chicago World News, and he put it under that video. So we're going to focus on Chicago, and I might do another video later on about worldwide and get the numbers for worldwide. So I have a couple of articles and a video that I want for you guys to see. I'm not going to screen record it and put it on this video, only because I do not want to have any copyright issues, because it is coming from New York Times. However, what you can do is go ahead and click the link down below. This video actually happened in New York. However, this is an example of what we're going to talk about further in the video. We will get there. But again, most of the details and the numbers will be focused on Chicago and the northern, Midwest and Eastern region, since I mentioned New York. Okay. Now, let's just jump on into the question at hand. Let's talk about dirty cops. Let's start there. There are so many dirty cops that are out there. Like, seriously, you guys, a lot of people are out that, get jobs as cops, because let's be honest, that's a government job. They give you pension, give you this and that. So people do tend to go to be cops when they don't have any like other plans. Like, say for instance, it's like, okay, I've tried everything else and I have not got any results. So why not just become a cop? So a lot of people do that and become cops, and then they're still, involved in their culture. So therefore, what they do is use those people because they're around that area. One, they're involved with the culture. Two, and they know the people that are already around them that the cops are targeting. And that's honestly what happens a lot. Sometimes they end up being undercover cops that they don't even know that they're being undercover cops, because they're just being watched 24/7. And the next thing you know, they're becoming an informant because they're around the environment. And stuff like that happens all the time. Now, specifically dirty cops, okay? Specifically dirty cops. Dirty cops comes when it comes down to greed, comes down to power, and comes down to really people being engulfed in the negative culture. Because even though you're a cop, it doesn't mean that you are a good person. And not to say that people in that culture are bad people, but the stuff that goes on that makes it dirty, keyword dirty cops, it's most times and not negativity and negative behavior, negative, actions. And, they like to entertain negativity. Most dirty cops do, okay? Most dirty cops will pour out all this drugs, pour out all this info, create beefs just to have shootings, just to create activity for the news, just to make like a news story, is to say like, oh, the cops did this and that. And it's literally a dirty cop behind the scenes making the negativity stew up and rise up to be what it is for when people like you and me go online or go on the turn on the TV and see this big huge news story. Most times than not, a lot of times there are dirty cops in between making ish happen, so therefore negativity comes out to the universe. So most cases than not, dirty cops deal with drugs, okay? Most cases than not, it's drugs. Either they're planting drugs inside of a car with somebody that, you know, they stopped someone and they were falsely stopped. So therefore, because they're falsely stopped, now they're planting stuff in the car, which is the example I'm going to show you in that video. I'm actually going to read what happened, but I'm going to show you guys a video. That's a video that I have for you guys to watch in the New York Times. You know, most cases they are involved with the gang activity. They come in as someone that they think that they can trust, and the gang pays them off. A lot of cops, people don't know that a lot of cops are paid off to leave them alone, and then they end up giving them away to the cops. And, you know, that's another form of dirty cops. A lot of dirty cops are, like I said, undercover, and they make you feel like they are a part of what you're doing, a part of your whole organization, part of your whole whatever you're doing with, you know, the drug scene. Get their cut of the money, all of that through drugs, because you guys think that they're on your side, and kind of find out they're a cop. And they literally are like that confidential informant, like, you know, that person that's with Sergeant 69, that confidential informant, they're like that confidential informant that's watching everything. So when the case comes out, you're now going to jail for years and years and years for RICO charges, and you don't know why or how. It's that undercover cop that was a dirty cop that was, you know, getting his cut of whatever you guys are doing, whatever people are doing with drugs and whatever. And now, you know, you're in jail. And it goes back, and sometimes you have that dirty cop that literally is just thinking of his own selfishness. Like, that's really honestly what it is. It's all selfishness. Like, because for instance, I'm going to bring it back to the New York Times, the video I'm going to show you guys. Well, that you're going to see when you click the link. In this situation, there was two guys stopped. It was a guy in the left on the you know, the regular driver, and up in the guy on the second, I mean, you know, on the passenger side, right? And the two people in the car were stopped. The cop stopped them. One name was Pastran, and the other name at this point in time I can't remember, but when I get there, I promise you I will remember. But the other names start with a G. Two cops. One named Pastran, the other one was with a G, right? And the situation happened like this. So, of course, the driver was black, and so there was a marijuana bust. Now, mind you, the guys in the car didn't have nothing, okay? They didn't have anything on them. They didn't have anything, you know, not even any residue of weed, anything like that. If you're looking down, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at the video just to see if I can get the guy's name. But yeah, so there was two guys, black people in the car, or I say melanated. If you guys hear me say the term melanated, that's what I consider a black person, because I'm not black, that's not they. I just have melanin in my skin, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. But there were melanated people, minorities in this vehicle, so they were being targeted. A lot of dirty cops target minorities, okay? So they literally planted a little clip, and I think also a green weed bag in these people's car. They didn't have anything. The floors were clean, and it took one cop turned off his camera, and the other cop was still in the back seat searching. And when I tell you guys, you're going to want to see this video, so do not click this link. Click the link down below, seriously. And there's like a 3.5 search for marijuana. It's 3.5 search of them talking to the guys. Oh, I smell it. I know you got it. And the guys put strong. It was like, oh, well, we got to find something. Shit, fuck. You know, like PG-13F. We don't, you know, we can't find nothing. You didn't stop these people for no reason. They both had a seatbelt on, and there's nothing in the car. So they literally were stereotyping. They said, oh, the windows were tinted too dark. That's the reason why they stopped them originally. Right. Okay. So during this whole situation, this man is searching for 3.5 minutes. His camera was off for about 4 minutes when the other guy, let me see here. And by the way, that F that I just said, it happened at 2 minutes 57 seconds. I'm trying to see the other guy's name so I can really tell you guys detail for detail here. And this is a live, by the way. So, well, on my end, it's a live. I don't know how you guys are seeing it now. Let me see. I'm gonna find it for you guys. Passenger, driver. Come on, show me the cops. While I'm looking, I'm gonna keep talking. So they didn't find anything in the car. In about 4 minutes, the camera was turned off for Pastran. Pastran was the one who turned off his camera. He said it was a technical difficulty. Yeah, right. He blocked his camera, blacked it out, something, because the camera was off for about 4 minutes. And at that point in time, he was planting it. Now, during this whole entire time, the driver saw that the guy Pastran was about to put something in his car. He came out of nowhere with the camera footage, like we can see with this bag, right? Out of nowhere, and he literally caught him putting something in his car. So because he was saying, "Yo, you put something in my car," like he put something in my car, like what's going on? Like, he put something in my car. They ended up taking him to jail for obstruction, I believe I saw, basically saying that he wasn't cooperating with the cops. Which he was staying to the side, his friends. Oh, and then they looked with who was around, because again, I mentioned birds of feather flock together. So they said that they noticed a couple of people that came around the situation, and that they were friends and affiliates of gang violence. Now, before this happened, the driver of the vehicle was actually in a situation in 2016 for an assault situation in 2016, which was fighting most likely, and so he went to jail for that. Now, because of that, they're already stereotyping him again. Okay, fine, he has tinted windows that are quote unquote too dark, so they automatically assume as a black person, right? They see it as a black person, so now because they know it's a black person, now they're looking for something. It has to be something negative, right? And now that they run his background, he has some of his background for fighting back in 2016. So that's 3 things right there that they're being prejudiced about. And the video is going to be a little bit longer, so be prepared. But this is really stuff that we need to think about, okay? So I'm still looking for the officer name, but yeah. So that's just 3 things right there that are automatically like they're targeting and being prejudiced to these people. And then at the end of the day, the man just telling the man, like, I see you in my car putting stuff and planting stuff in my vehicle. So why are you doing, like, yo, he puts in my car and you're going to arrest me for literally telling you and seeing that you are putting things in my vehicle that I did not have in my car. And throughout the video, you can see the back seat. There's nothing on the floor in the back seat, where he says that he found this marijuana cigarette at the end of the video. Yeah, this is just a prime example. Now, there's many examples that happen like this, and there's many examples that happen where people get stopped all the time for no reason, just because they're targeted, found things in their car that are not in their car. All the times where situations that, happen that they over escalate for no reason because it's a minority. Situations all the time where people are just targeted for being a minority, for being melanated, for being called quote unquote Black African American in America. Oh, here's the name, Elmer Pastran, so I'm talking about. And then the other guy's name was one more time. Hold on, I'm gonna pause it. The other guy's name was Kyle Erickson. Sorry, I said G is E. Erickson. So Erickson was the one that was rolling the cameras in the back seat, while Pastran was the one who was, blocking his camera, and the one that was like, we gotta find something because he stopped him, basically. So please tune into that. But that's just an example, literally, just an example of someone being prejudiced, black, dirty cops trying to make situations that aren't really there for their job. That's selfishness, like I said. And this happens all the time, especially in Chicago. New York, Chicago, like those 2 cities are like the biggest cities that this kind of activity happens. It happens down in Miami too. Like any metropolitan area, most likely than not. And in the country, it's worse too. It's worldwide. But these are the 2 places, because they're mega cities, that it happens a lot. And in Los Angeles, it happens a lot, like every day, where there's dirty cops that are just looking out for themselves, looking out for their quotas and their tickets and their bonuses and this and that, and they are using us to get there. Like it's effed up how they do that. The dirty cops are just get me mad. Like that right there is an example of a dirty cop. Watch the video. But I'm gonna move on because I'm getting to talky on that topic. Let's talk about lawsuits, right? So CBS Chicago, which is channel 2, it has like an I and a 2, right? As the icon, put out an article on April 17th, 2018 at 7:40 a.m. I'm gonna link this also in the video down below so you want to look this up. So the title is City Pays $20 million so far in 2018 for police misconduct cases. So the state has paid $20 million for basically falsely incriminating people, falsely arresting people, people getting out and then suing the state for being arrested, falsely incriminated for no reason in most cases. Just because they need, like that example before, why I showed you guys, that's why I talked about that first. So y'all can have an example of what people, that's a lawsuit. That person sued. Because you know why? They were bothering him. He had no reason to bother him. They didn't have anything in his vehicle. The floor was clean. You'll see throughout the vehicle, it's circled every single time. There's nothing back there. And I'm sorry to yelling because I'm starting to get very frustrated. But this is just a prime example. So city pays $20 million so far in 2018 for police misconduct. Now this is April, and it's now November. Not even November. This Saturday marks December 1st. So I can only imagine. How many lawsuits have gone in since April? I can only imagine how much money the city has paid out since April, guys. And it is truly ridiculous. So let's go ahead and read this, right? Let's go ahead and read it. I'm getting a little hyped up. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. So I'm going to read this article for y'all, okay? Let's see who wrote this to make sure I'm getting copyrights on that. This was filed under Chicago Police, City of Chicago. So yeah, this was filed on the police. Okay. So Chicago CBS. On Monday, the city paid to settle more police misconduct cases, this time for a total of $4.6 million on Monday. So this happened in April. So that Monday is when they did the $4.6 million. It's added to that $20 million. Okay. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. The tip. That means you have a big old huge block that's on the tip above the water. What about all that stuff below the water? Okay. That's what I'm saying. I know for a fact this number has more so doubled, if not close to tripled, since April. Just saying. So CBS 2's Lauren Victory reports an analysis of Chicago settlement shows $20.3 million came out of city's coffers for police involved lawsuits in just the first 8 weeks of 2018. Wow. The first weeks, that means January and February, not even April. What? Oh, man. About half of that taxpayers' money is for cases marked excessive force, false arrest, and illegal search and seizures. So that means they're collecting money because it says taxpayer money. That means they're paying out money from the court for taxpayers. So the taxpayers, we're paying for these. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. It does add up, said attorney John Lovey. You're right. These are not all big ones. There's some big ones coming down to as far as the cases are concerned. On February 9th, the city issued $9.3 million check for reverse conviction cases handled by Lovey. So basically, Lovey, L-O-E-V-Y, was the judge that was, the attorney that handled a lot of cases. And because of, well, for him, an example, his cases, a lot of his cases that were convicted were reversed. So the judge convicted a lot of his, people that are arrested, and then they had to reverse those. And again, it was about, like I said, they issued a $9.3 million check to reverse the conviction cases handled by him. So these people that were handled by him had to get reversed and get out, and they paid all of their, things to get expunged and all that. He says he's well into litigation with several other wrongfully convicted clients who are also suing for millions of dollars each. Now, if you've been wrongfully incriminated or incarcerated by a cop, go ahead, contact Lovey, John Lovey, JONLOEVY, because he is getting the truth out to the public, and they're getting their money and they're getting everything fixed on those people's cases. So look him up and find him out there in Chicago. Chicago's Department of Law says 460 civil rights cases against the city are currently under review at that time. From an economic standpoint, dollars and cents, it would be cheaper to solve the problem than to keep paying out on lawsuits, right? So the problem is cops that are dirty, that feel like they need to hit, meet their budgets, hit their budgets, keep their jobs, be dirty cops, get involved with negativity, be negative all alone, their own, and take people to jail for no reason, right? That's what we're talking about. So I'm going to read that again. From an economic standpoint, dollars and cents, it would be cheaper to solve the problem than to keep paying out on lawsuits, Lovey said. We've heard rhetoric lately that it is time to make a change, and time will tell if that keeps going to happen. Time will tell if that's even going to happen, okay? Lovey welcomes reforms, even if it means less work for his firm. So again, if y'all out there, y'all have this case that's called John Lowe, because he's not in it for the money. He's in it to help, because this stuff has to happen. It's time for a change. And he's not the only attorney that's willing to do this. He really isn't. He isn't the only attorney willing to do this. It's a lot of attorneys out there, but this is just the one that's focused here on this story, you guys. But in order for it to make a change, there has to be a mindset change also. So the judge has to make a change. The judges that are out here handing out these sentences, taking these sides of the police officers, that prejudiceness of, okay, this is a minority, let me focus on them different, I have heard these stories. Because when you hear stories and you see stories and you go through things and experience, or now your experience, you have an outlook on these people, or people automatically prejudging. Even though you're a judge, they're still human. And that's like the mindset that has to change. Because honestly, most cases are not, people do take, the cops of course have to go to the court too, but it is a federal system, so the cops are on their side. The judges are on the cop side. In most cases, they're not. And in most cases, they're not. When it comes to these situations, it's prejudiceness, and people are getting incarcerated for no reason because of a police officer putting and making a case against you for their quote and their bonuses, which is not fair. And like I said, well, on the note of, okay, it's a judge, he doesn't know what's really going on, or she doesn't know what's really going on, so you can't really fault the judge, but it's still a prejudiceness to go into depth to really figure out what really happened in those situations. I'm just saying. So let's continue, right? Our goal is that they put us out of business. If they put them out, basically they're saying, look, if that's the case, y'all put me out of business, because I'm going to keep doing this until y'all stop me. Okay? For some prospects, the city paid out only $2.2 million for the first 8 weeks of 2016 and $6.1 million for 2017. So basically what they're saying from the perspective of the city, in 2016, they only paid out 2.2 in the first weeks, and 6.1 million for 2017. So if you go back to comparing the numbers that we talked about, here is 2018, and in the first weeks of 2018 it's 4.6 million. So already you're already above 2016. Just saying. And already, to April, we already above 2018 overall 20.3 million settlement that came out that they just talked about in April of 2018. So this year, 2018, honestly has been the highest that the city has paid out in the quantities that we're speaking about. So this is a big, big problem. Okay, it seems to be like more and more money is being paid out to people from the city. Why is that? I'm just saying. Why is that? Are we being targeted a little bit more like we were back in the day? Is it because we're having more numbers? Because technically we're only about 13% of the population. We really are only 13% of the population, to be very honest. So is it that we're getting more people? We're birthing more people, so now more people are able to get into trouble? Or is it that they're literally just targeting us because of the things that they've heard and the things that they see and the activity that are in certain areas like Southside, Washington Park, so like that down there in Chicago? let's just be honest. Let's talk about, oh, well, how did it get this bad? Okay, when there were times where it wasn't like this and people literally lived like normal, not to say normal human citizens, but were perceived as normal human citizens at one point in time, even though there was integration and segregation that went on, people still viewed people as human, to be honest. And so they, put the little crates in these neighborhoods, the crates with the guns and the crates with the drugs. Oh, people don't want to talk about those times, right? I'm getting too deep, huh? I'm getting too deep information y'all didn't know about. Oh, y'all know about it. You haven't talked about it yet, right? Let's talk about how these neighborhoods that are quote-unquote bad neighborhoods that are targeted got to be those quote-unquote bad neighborhoods that are targeting now. Because at first, all this gang activity was to get away from the cops. So the cops were always targeting those neighborhoods, those people. They weren't really helping them in the first place. So we had to come up with our own little gangs, our own little police system to literally take care of ourselves and make sure that we are being safe among our neighborhood. And let's talk about how the police, those dirty cops, infiltrated those good gangs or good cliques or good camps. I'm gonna call them camps because gang is such a harsh term. Those camps, those groups, let's call them groups that were formed together to empower the neighborhood, that were turned into negativity by dirty cops. Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that, which then makes those neighborhoods now the target that already were targeting. The first time I don't go there at all, but now they're targeting us because y'all created negativity to now have things to talk about on the news, right? I'm just saying. Let me not get too excited, you guys. So let's go back to it. So in the case of Dirty Low giving me the topic about, let's talk about dirty cops, and let's talk about how many lawsuits are going on because of falsely incriminating people. Let's just talk about it. Let y'all really think about it. Let y'all think about this throughout y'all day because it's happening every single day. Let's make a difference within our community and let's start being those targets that they set up for us to be. Because honestly, if there's someone at the top, there's someone at the bottom. And they're choosing minorities. They're choosing African American people. They're choosing melanated black people, because I don't like calling people black, but melanated people, to be that under race. And we have to get above and step above and use our brains to become more than what they want us to be, become more than what they say us to be. Even though you're coming from the neighborhood that is bad, or coming from a neighborhood that's classified to be bad, come from a neighborhood that's classified to be ghetto or hood, y'all can change all that around. It starts with the mindset. Don't talk about the change. Be the change. Step up, be leaders, and change. Stop killing each other. Stop making yourself a notion for negativity because they started all of that. Stop beefing with someone that's literally across the street from you. When you get up in the morning, you look across the street, you and that person across the street, y'all beefing. What's up with that? Like, that's not our culture, okay? That's not our culture. Get back to your culture. Remember your culture. Find out what culture is. Like, find out what your culture is, because honestly we don't really know, being that we were told that we were brought over here. A lot of it was already here prior to slavery because we are Indians, and they don't know now. You don't know that there's melanated Indians that were here before everything, and Chicago is a big area, like about in Chickasaw Indians, all those Indians, people like that those lost tribes that we don't think about because we are not taught to figure that out, because the culture is there. If you don't know what your culture is, find your culture, create culture. But this culture that we are bringing out to the world is negative, and they're taking that and running with it, especially in these areas of Chicago. Now, what I am going to say, of course, I'm not speaking to everyone, because a lot of people are not into that kind of negativity, but some people are just around it and they are prejudged to be in that kind of negativity because they are a minority, because they are melanated, because they are considered a black African American. So automatically you assume they're in trouble. Automatically you assume they have some negative. Automatically you assume they're in a gang or involved with a gang, or know people that are in gangs because they are a minority black African American melanated person, which is false in a lot of cases. Okay, so let's just go ahead and change that notion of melanated people. Let's just be the change. Let's start the change now and move forward, and then show them, and let's rise up. Let's get businesses. Let's take our neighborhoods back and take it to where it was back in the day. I remember my people up in Chicago, when we used to stay in Chicago, we had clearing businesses. We had beauty salons out there on the south side, and they were booming businesses. And it was not negativity. It was a really booming society out there around the northeast, north southern area and south area. There was a lot of businesses. People don't talk about those days where businesses were booming back in this area, right? Because that's when they bought them out, they made negative, put ghettos and all that, because that stuff didn't really exist at one point in time either. Do your history, man. Rise up, elevate yourself, use your third eye and elevate yourselves. All right, guys, I'm just about to let you guys go though. This was a really good discussion. If you have any comments, let me know down below. If you have anything you want to talk and add to this discussion that we just had just now, put it down below. Again, this comment and this story and this discussion was about dirty cops and how they are falsely incriminating Black people, targeting Black people, and how there are so many lawsuits out in the city against that kind of behavior. So if you have any comments, go ahead and put it down below. I will go ahead and be reviewing them, because this is a serious topic. And it's time to be the change for our country. It really is. It really, really is. So if you guys are new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. If you are returning, hey fam, please like, share, comment down below, and I will see you on the next video. Find me on Instagram at Clarissa Says, KLARISSICASAYS, and let's be the change, you guys. Peace out, y'all.